The Skybound Trials. Book 1, The Last Gate. Chapter 1, The Boy from Below. Long before the sky broke, Wren already knew what it felt like to be forgotten. The village of Hollow Reef sat at the edge of the world, where endless ocean met jagged cliffs and stubborn fishermen fought the sea for every meal. Nothing important ever happened there. No kings visited. No famous warriors were born there. No scholars traveled there seeking knowledge. The maps of the world barely bothered to include it. And for most of his 17 years, Wren believed he would live and die in Hollow Reef, just like everyone before him. The sea decided everything. It decided who ate. It decided who went hungry. It decided who returned home. And who didn't. Wren tightened his grip on the fishing net as icy water swirled around his ankles. The sun had barely risen. Orange light stretched across the horizon. Most people were still asleep. Unfortunately, fish didn't care about sleep. "You're daydreaming again." Wren looked up. Mara stood on the shoreline with her arms crossed. She was carrying a basket nearly half her size. Dark hair blew across her face. Her expression suggested she had already been annoyed with him for several minutes. "Was I?" Wren asked. "You almost let the current take the net." "I had it under control." "You always say that." "Because I usually do." Mara rolled her eyes. "You say that right before something goes wrong." Wren smiled. "That's only happened a few times. Last week your boat drifted away. A few times. You fell off a cliff. A few times. You accidentally caught your own boot." Wren pointed at her. "That one wasn't my fault. It was entirely your fault." Wren laughed. Mara tried not to smile. Failed. Then smiled anyway. They had known each other their entire lives. In a village as small as Hollow Reef, everyone knew everyone. But Mara was different. Most people treated Wren's dreams like a joke. Mara listened, even when she thought those dreams were ridiculous. Especially then. The two of them carried the morning's catch back toward the village. The narrow dirt road wound between weathered stone cottages. Smoke drifted from chimneys. Dogs barked somewhere in the distance. A fisherman waved as they passed. "Morning, Wren." "Morning." Still planning to become a hero. Wren groaned. Mara laughed. The fisherman laughed harder. Everybody in Hollow Reef knew about Wren's obsession with stories. Every child grew up hearing legends. Most eventually outgrew them. Wren never did. He loved every tale. Ancient kingdoms. Lost cities. Sea monsters. Sky warriors. Floating islands. Especially floating islands. His grandfather had filled his childhood with stories about them. Stories nobody else believed. Stories Wren secretly hoped were true. The old man had died 3 years earlier. But Wren still remembered every word. "One day," his grandfather used to say, "the sky will open again." Then he would point upward. Toward empty clouds. Toward nothing. The Isles are still out there. Most people laughed whenever he said it. Wren never laughed. Because whenever his grandfather told those stories, he sounded absolutely certain. As if he had seen the floating islands himself. As if he knew secrets nobody else knew. Wren pushed open the door to his small house. The familiar smell of wood smoke greeted him. His mother stood near the stove. She looked up immediately. "There you are. We brought fish. I can see that." She walked over and kissed his forehead. Wren pretended to hate it. His mother pretended not to notice. "How was the catch?" "Better than yesterday." "Everything is better than yesterday." "Fair point." She smiled. For a moment, the tiny house felt warm. Safe. Normal. A part of Wren wished life could stay that way forever. The other part wanted something more. Much more. His mother noticed the look on his face. She always did. "What are you thinking about?" "Nothing." "That's a lie." Wren sighed. "The world. The world. The whole thing." She laughed softly. "That's a very large thing to think about before breakfast." I know. Still dreaming about adventures. Maybe. His mother shook her head. You got that from your grandfather. He wasn't wrong about everything. No. For a brief moment, sadness crossed her face. Then it disappeared. She turned back toward the stove. The conversation ended there. It always ended there. Nobody liked talking about his grandfather. Not because they disliked him. Because they missed him. After breakfast, Ren headed toward the cliffs. It was his favorite place in the village. The highest point overlooking the sea. From there, he could see forever. Or at least it felt that way. The ocean stretched endlessly toward the horizon. A massive blue expanse untouched by roads, walls, and kingdoms. Freedom. That was what Ren saw whenever he looked at it. Freedom and possibility. The world had to be bigger than fishing boats and stone cottages. It had to be. A shadow passed overhead. Ren looked up. A gull. Nothing unusual. Still, he found himself staring at the clouds. The same clouds his grandfather used to watch. The same empty sky. The same impossible dream. You know they're not coming. Ren turned. Old Bren sat on a nearby rock. The village carpenter. Also the village expert on ruining dramatic moments. What? The floating islands. Ren groaned. How did you know what I was thinking? You always make the same face. I do not. You do. Old Bren pointed. That face. Ren sighed. One day you'll discover I was right. One day you'll discover you weren't. The old carpenter stood. His knees cracked loudly. There are no floating islands. There are. There aren't. There are. There aren't. Ren smiled. The argument was older than he was. Neither side had ever won. Old Bren started walking away. Then paused. Still. Ren blinked. Still what? The old man looked toward the horizon. For the first time, his usual confidence seemed uncertain. Strange weather today. Ren followed his gaze. Dark clouds gathered far beyond the sea. Nothing unusual. Except they weren't moving. They simply hung there. Motionless. Watching. Waiting. A chill ran down Ren's spine. The carpenter frowned. Then shook his head. Probably nothing. Ren wasn't so sure. Hours passed. The village continued its routine. Fishermen repaired nets. Children played. Merchants argued over prices. Life went on. Until noon. That was when the first rumble echoed across the ocean. Every conversation stopped. Every head turned. The sound came again. Louder this time. The ground trembled beneath Ren's feet. Birds exploded into the sky. Dogs barked wildly. People emerged from homes and shops. Confused. Concerned. The rumble continued growing. And growing. And growing. Until it sounded like thunder rolling across the entire world. Nobody knew what was happening. Nobody knew what to do. Then the clouds moved. Not drifted. Moved. The dark mass hanging over the horizon began pulling apart. A crack of brilliant white light appeared between them. Someone screamed. Someone else dropped to their knees. The crack widened. And widened. And widened. Ren's heart stopped. Because he knew. Before anyone else. Before the shouting. Before the panic. Before the impossible became real. He knew. The stories were true. The sky was opening. And something was coming through. The sky split open with a sound like the world itself was breaking. A blinding line of white light stretched from one end of the horizon to the other. Villagers stumbled backward. Some screamed. Others simply stared. No one knew what they were seeing. No one except Ren. His grandfather's stories rushed through his mind. The Isles return every 100 years. The sky opens before they arrive. And when they come, the world changes forever. The crack widened. Clouds swirled around it like water circling a drain. A powerful wind swept across Hollow Reef. Fishing boats rocked violently in the harbor. Barrels rolled through the streets. Children ran to their parents. Ren couldn't move. He felt rooted to the earth. The opening in the sky grew larger. Then something appeared. At first it looked like a mountain, a dark shape emerging from the light. But mountains didn't float. Gasps spread through the village. The shape drifted forward. Slowly, silently, a massive island hung in the air. Waterfalls poured from its edges. Entire forests covered its surface. Ancient stone towers rose among the trees. For several seconds, nobody spoke. The impossible island continued drifting across the heavens. Then another appeared behind it. Then another. And another. And another. Within minutes, dozens of floating islands filled the sky. The sunlight dimmed beneath their shadows. The ocean reflected their enormous forms. Children pointed upward. Adults stood frozen. The oldest villagers wept openly. Because they remembered the stories. And because the stories had been true all along. "They're real," Mara whispered. Ren nodded. He couldn't find words. The Skybound Isles. The lost wonders of the world. They had returned. A deep pulse suddenly echoed through the air. Boom. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once. The islands glowed. Blue light spread across their surfaces. Another pulse followed. Boom. A ring of energy expanded outward from the sky. The waves swept across the ocean, across the cliffs, across Hollow Reef. The moment it touched him, Ren felt something strange. A warmth. A presence. Like a distant heartbeat. Then it vanished. The villagers looked around nervously. Everyone had felt it. No one understood it. Far above, the islands continued glowing. Except one. One island remained dark. Ren noticed it immediately. It floated near the edge of the formation. Smaller than the others. Almost hidden among them. Black mist surrounded its cliffs. Dark crystal structures rose from its surface. No blue light shone there. Only darkness. A chill ran through him. Then a voice whispered inside his mind. "Find me." Ren nearly stumbled. His eyes widened. The voice wasn't loud. It wasn't even a sound. It felt like a thought that didn't belong to him. Ancient. Patient. Waiting. He spun around. Nobody stood nearby. Nobody appeared to have heard anything. "Find me." The words came again. Clearer this time. Ren's heart hammered. "What?" The word escaped before he could stop it. Mara looked at him. "What? You didn't hear that." "Hear what?" Ren hesitated. The voice disappeared. Only the wind remained. Before he could answer, another shout rose from the harbor. "Ships!" Everyone turned. White sails dotted the horizon. Dozens of ships approached the village. Large ships. Vast ships. Ships bearing a symbol every child in the world recognized. A silver circle crossed by 3 wings. The Skybound Order. The keepers of the trials. The protectors of the Isles. The rulers of the skis. "They got here quickly," Mara said. Ren nodded. Too quickly. Almost as if they had known this day was coming. The fleet entered the harbor before sunset. Crowds gathered along the docks. Soldiers wearing polished silver armor stepped onto the piers. Behind them came figures dressed in deep blue cloaks. Recruiters. Evaluators. Officials of the order. People whose decisions could change lives. A tall woman carrying a crystal staff moved to the front of the crowd. Blue light flowed through the crystal. The harbor instantly fell silent. Her voice carried effortlessly over hundreds of people. The Skybound Isles have returned. No one interrupted. No one dared. The 100-year cycle has begun once more. Murmurs spread through the crowd. The woman raised her staff. The trials will begin in 30 days. Excitement erupted. Fear followed immediately afterward. Everyone knew the stories. Thousands attempted the trials. Only a fraction succeeded. Many never returned. The woman continued. Candidates between the ages of 16 and 20 may present themselves for evaluation. Ren felt his stomach tighten. This was real. Not a story. Not a dream. A chance. His chance. A chance to leave Hollow Reef. To see the floating islands. To become something more than a fisherman. Mara glanced at him. You want to go? It wasn't a question. Ren nodded slowly. More than anything. She studied him for a moment. Then smiled. Then you should. You make it sound easy. It isn't. No. You're probably going to get yourself killed. Thank you. You're welcome. Despite the words, her smile never faded. As the crowd dispersed, recruiters began speaking with villagers. Questions flew through the harbor. Requirements. Rules. Warnings. Rumors. By nightfall, the entire village buzzed with excitement. Nobody talked about anything except the Isles. Except Ren. He couldn't stop thinking about the voice. Find me. The words repeated endlessly inside his head. Long after sunset. Long after darkness covered Hollow Reef. Long after most villagers returned home. Ren stood alone near the cliffs overlooking the sea. Moonlight reflected across the waves. The floating islands glowed faintly overhead. Beautiful. Mysterious. Impossible. The dark island remained visible among them. Watching. Waiting. Then the voice returned. Find me. Ren froze. This time it felt stronger. Closer. More urgent. Find me before they do. A pulse of black light flashed across the distant island. Ren stared. Something moved inside the darkness. A shape. A silhouette. Too far away to identify. Yet somehow, he knew it was looking directly at him. His pulse quickened. Who are you? He whispered. For a moment, there was only silence. Then a final thought entered his mind. Not a name. Not an answer. A direction. Images flashed before his eyes. Cliffs. Stone. A hidden opening. A cave. The vision vanished instantly. Ren stood motionless. His heart raced. The cave from the vision looked familiar. Very familiar. Because he knew exactly where it was. A forgotten section of coastline west of the village. Few people went there. The cliffs were dangerous. The tides unpredictable. His grandfather used to take him there when he was young. And suddenly Ren knew. The voice wanted him to go there. Tonight. The Skybound Trials. Book 1, The Last Gate. Chapter 1, The Boy from Below. Part 3. Ren should have gone home. That was the sensible choice. The responsible choice. The choice his mother would have wanted him to make. Instead, he grabbed a lantern and headed west. The village lights slowly disappeared behind him. The night air carried the scent of salt and seaweed. Above him, the floating islands drifted silently across the stars. Even now, they felt unreal. Like a dream the world had somehow shared. Yet they were there. Massive shadows hanging in the heavens. Watching. Waiting. And somewhere among them was the Black Island. The island no one else seemed to notice. The island connected to the voice. Ren tightened his grip on the lantern. Every instinct told him this was a bad idea. He kept walking anyway. The trail narrowed as it wound along the cliffs. Sharp rocks jutted from the earth. Waves crashed against the shoreline far below. Several times, Ren nearly turned back. Several times the voice returned. Not words. Just a feeling. A pull. Like an invisible thread guiding him forward. The farther he traveled, the stronger it became. Soon he reached a section of coastline he hadn't visited in years. Memories flooded back immediately. His grandfather had brought him here countless times. The old man used to sit near the cliffs for hours, watching the sea, watching the sky, sometimes speaking as if he expected someone to answer. At the time, Ren thought it was strange. Now he wondered if there had been a reason. The path ended near a wall of stone. Most people would have stopped there. Ren didn't. The vision had shown him something hidden. He raised the lantern higher. Light danced across the rock face. Nothing. Just stone. He frowned. Then he noticed a narrow gap between two boulders, half concealed by vines. His heartbeat quickened. The opening was barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through. And it definitely hadn't appeared in any of his childhood memories. Slowly, Ren stepped closer. A cold breeze drifted from inside. The air smelled ancient, dusty, forgotten. The voice returned. "Find me." The words echoed through his mind. Not demanding, not threatening, simply waiting. Ren swallowed hard, then stepped through the opening. Darkness swallowed him immediately. The tunnel beyond was narrow and uneven. His lantern cast long shadows across the walls. Water dripped from the ceiling. Every sound seemed unnaturally loud. For several minutes, he followed the passage deeper underground. The tunnel twisted downward, then downward again. The farther he went, the older everything felt, as if no human had entered this place for centuries. Then he saw the markings, symbols carved into the stone. Thousands of them. Lines, circles, patterns. Some glowed faintly with silver light. Ren stopped. His breath caught. The carvings matched sketches he had seen in his grandfather's journals. Ancient skybound symbols. Impossible. How could they be here? Why had no one discovered them? Questions raced through his mind. None had answers. The tunnel widened ahead. A faint glow appeared in the darkness. Blue at first, then silver, then black. Ren's pulse hammered. The voice felt stronger than ever, almost excited. One final turn brought him into a vast underground chamber. The sight stole his breath. The cave was enormous. Its ceiling disappeared into darkness. Ancient pillars surrounded the chamber. Crystal veins stretched through the stone like frozen lightning. Strange symbols covered every surface. And in the center stood a pedestal. A single black crystal pedestal. Ren stared. The crystal seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Dark mist curled around its base. The entire chamber felt alive, watching him, waiting for him. Slowly, he approached. His footsteps echoed. The voice spoke again. "Welcome, Keeper." Ren froze. "Keeper? What does that mean?" No answer came. Only silence. Then he noticed what rested atop the pedestal. An egg. A massive egg, unlike anything he had ever seen. Its surface shimmered like liquid night. Dark crystal patterns twisted across the shell. Tiny streaks of silver light moved beneath the surface, as though stars were trapped inside. Ren's mouth went dry. He knew immediately this wasn't normal. This wasn't natural. This wasn't supposed to exist. The moment he stepped closer, the entire chamber trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. The crystals along the walls began glowing. The symbols ignited one by one. Light spread across the cave like fire racing through dry grass. Ren stumbled backward. The egg pulsed. Once. Twice. 3 times. A heartbeat. No. Not a heartbeat. A response. It knew he was there. The realization sent chills through his body. The egg knew. Then a crack appeared. A thin line stretching across the shell. Ren's eyes widened. No way. Another crack followed. Then another. The glowing symbols intensified. The cave shook violently. The black crystal pedestal began radiating darkness. Not absence of light. Something deeper. Older. The voice returned one final time. "You have finally come." The shell split. A brilliant burst of silver and black light exploded outward. Ren threw an arm over his eyes. For several seconds he couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't think. The entire chamber seemed to vanish beneath the overwhelming light. Power surged through the air like a storm breaking loose inside the cave. The crystal veins running through the walls blazed brighter than ever. Ancient symbols ignited across the stone floor. The ground trembled beneath Ren's feet. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the light faded. Silence followed. Heavy, absolute. Slowly, Ren lowered his arm. The egg was open. Cracks spread across the broken shell. Silver mist drifted upward from within. For a moment, he couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Something inside was watching him, one eye large, golden, unblinking, ancient. The creature remained hidden within the shadows of the shell. Only the eye was visible. Yet Ren felt its presence immediately. The air itself seemed heavier, more alive. As if the entire cave was holding its breath, the creature studied him. Not like an animal examining prey. Not like a predator preparing to attack, like a person, like an equal, like something deciding. The golden eye narrowed slightly. Ren felt a strange pressure against his mind, a presence, powerful, ancient, far older than any living thing he had ever known. Then the voice returned. Only now it was different, stronger, clearer. At last, the words echoed inside his thoughts. Ren stumbled backward. His heart nearly stopped. The creature had spoken, not aloud, inside his head. "You can talk." A strange feeling swept through his mind, almost amusement, almost. I can do much more than talk. The voice was calm, measured, patient. The voice of something that had witnessed centuries pass like seasons. Ren swallowed hard. "What are you?" The creature remained silent for several seconds. When it finally answered, the temperature inside the cave seemed to drop. "I am the last." The words sent chills through him. The last what? Before he could ask, another tremor shook the chamber. Dust rained from the ceiling. The golden eye shifted upward. For the first time, concern entered its voice. "They know." Ren frowned. "Who knows?" The creature's response came instantly. The hunters. A pulse of fear shot through Ren, not his fear, the creature's, and that frightened him more than anything. Because if this being was afraid of something, that something had to be terrible. Far above the cave, beyond layers of stone and earth, a deep rumble rolled across the sky. The creature's eye widened. Too late. The cave shook violently. A deafening roar echoed from outside. Ren turned toward the tunnel entrance. His blood ran cold. Dark light flashed through the opening. Something was happening above ground, something enormous. The creature spoke again, this time with unmistakable urgency. "Listen carefully, Keeper. You no longer have a choice. The moment I awakened, the world awakened with me."